Good evening, good evening. We are live again on the Coffee Pod. I'm delighted this evening to have James with me. We're going to talk about James's journey a bit more and how we met originally and how I've been talking to him about coming on the Coffee Pod for a while now. So first things first, let's just say a quick hello to whoever's in the chat and then we'll talk a little bit about yourself, James. So we've got Ricky Resales. Hi, Ricky. I know you go to the same boot sale that I met James at, actually. So thanks for popping in. Peach Retro Collectibles, I'll be here tonight too. What time was that? It says 2:22 p.m. So they were very early, actually. And Ricky was 1:10 p.m. So they were really excited, James, you know, because they knew you was coming on.
Good.
Hi, Leanne. Hope you're well. We've got Damien in. Hi, Damien. SB Reselling. I see you absolutely flying at the moment. So, yeah, keep it going. I'm so pleased you've got your YouTube channel. I watch all your videos. You're doing really well. So, hi, Sophie. Thanks for coming in. And we've got Tama Bell as well. Hello, guys. So, hopefully more people join us tonight. I just really wanted to have a chat with you, James, about your eBay, about life in general with yourself, and to talk about your journey so far. I'm loving the numbers I'm seeing on Instagram, especially for boots and stuff. And for anyone in the chat, myself and James both have a cold at the moment. Didn't catch it off each other. Well, we might have done from the boot sale on the Sunday.
Probably.
But, you know, so let's talk a bit about you, if that's okay. So do you want to tell people a bit about you and your eBay journey so far?
Yeah, hi, everyone. I'm James, eBazaar Reselling. I've probably been reselling now for about 4 years or so. Kind of started dabbling in all sorts, like I kind of wanted to focus on tools and watches and things like that at the start. So like trying to restore them and see what I could do. And then I think I had a bad day at work one time and kind of went on YouTube, said, how can I make money? Straight away found Nick and Andrea. And then, pretty much started watching them and realized that you can pretty much sell anything and everything. So, and then pretty much just started learning what I know already and selling my own bits and bobs and just, seeing what I could flip and started from there really and just grown it ever since.
Sure, good stuff. Back. And are you part-time or full-time?
I'm part-time. So I work
part-time.
I work as a carpenter 3 days a week. So Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. And then weekends, obviously car boots, Monday and Friday, it's listing.
Yeah, sure. Okay, good stuff. And what is it you like to buy? Are you an everything seller? Do you like to pick up everything? Do you kind of like to look for certain things at the car boot sale? I kind of know this answer because every time I see you racing around the boot sale, I kind of see the things you're picking up. So what do you kind of like to get?
It's always like a race against each other, isn't it, at the boot sales?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I kind of like recently in the last year or so, I've been focusing on footwear, I'd say. Like mainly just like walking boots, hiking boots, any kind of like any kind of footwear. So it could be like ice skate or roller skates, you know, things like that. But then literally anything from VHS players, vintage electronics, toys, games, pretty much what most of you YouTubers sell, because I've all been learning from you lot. So if I see it and it's got pretty much, you know, a good amount of money in it, then I'll pick it up. But what I don't do is I try and avoid the sort of 10 to 15 pound items now, because like I haven't really got the space to be holding loads, and I see it all the time and I walk past it, but it's just not worth my time to pick it up. So I prefer going for like the sort of 30 pound, 40 pound profits if I can.
Sure.
So yeah, it's kind of limiting my stock, but that's what I do.
Yeah. No, it's a great idea. Let's talk about that a little bit more, because I think that's one of my struggles at the moment. My sales are going really well. I'm selling anywhere between 8 to 10 sales a day, quite consistently at the moment now. But my average sale price is not the best. So how do you avoid them items? Because I still get in the habit. I go to a car boot sale and I tell myself every single time I go, right, James, don't pick up the items that are £1 into £10. You don't need them. You've got loads in the store. So how do you get past that mental block of kind of walking past profit, as it were?
Yeah, I mean, it is hard. You just kind of got to, like in all things, you got to spend money to make money. And sometimes you might think that it might be worth a little bit more than £10 or like £15, £20. Then you get home, it's only worth tenner, and you pretty much just got to spend it to learn it and realize, oh wait, that's not worth that money anymore. So I'll leave that for some other reseller, maybe someone who's a bit more new in the game, or you know, just getting started. So they are the things that people go for. The beginners, they go for the sort of 10, 15 pound items, and then the more confident you get with like electronics or whatever, you're more willing to pay up for things, and the more you pay, usually the better return. So you just That's kind of what I do in the field. In the field, when you see me, that's why I haven't always
Yeah,
got
no,
a trolley load of stuff or bag full of stuff. I'm quite, I usually only do like a few trips back to the car with,
yeah,
a few big bulky items because I know that's my morning paid for.
yeah. And
Yeah,
you go with the IKEA bags because I remember you
yeah,
we'd had chats in the boot sales before, but I remember you commented on one of my YouTube videos about, oh, I've seen myself in your channel. I've got the blue IKEA bag. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
every time I see you, you're
Same,
running
same
around
as
with that bag.
same as Ricky on the chat. Ricky's always got the
Hmm.
blue bags. I
Yeah,
mean, they're brilliant. That's what I use.
they do the job. No,
Yeah.
absolutely. Good stuff. Okay, so is there anything at the car boot sales you wouldn't pick up now? So have you been stung with certain items? For myself, I used to pick up a lot of VCRs, and it's very rare now I'll pick one up.
Yeah.
I really do on the Blue Moon, but I used to kind of always pick them up. But the amount what didn't work, and the
Hmm.
amount of time it was taking me to test them and store them and even sell them for parts, it wasn't worth it. But is there anything you kind of
Yeah.
avoid now at boot sales?
It's quite a hard one, really. I mean, it depends on the price, really. If I can get it cheap enough, I'll happily pick it up. But like VHSs, it depends on the brand, really. If you're going for like a Sony or a Panasonic, then there's pretty much some good money in it usually. So if it's just like a lower brand, I'll usually leave them.
Sure.
One of my problems was kind of not checking the items properly. So I kind of just pick it up in its box, thinking it's
Yeah.
perfectly fine and complete, and then just
Mhm.
walk away and buy it. And I'll have it, and then I get home and there's nothing there, or it's damaged and I can't resell it. So I mean, there isn't really a specific item. Yeah, it's just it depends really. It depends what I'm feeling like on the morning. It's so early in
Sure.
the morning as well. I'm
I
like
know,
half
and it's
asleep at
such
the
a
time.
panic,
So
isn't it, as well?
yeah, yeah, and then you're walking away, you're doing your research, and then you're looking back, seeing if someone else has picked it up.
Mhm.
It's quite a hard one.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
absolutely. I think for me, I'm guilty of the same because you're the kind
yeah,
of first lap on that car boot sale. I mean, the good thing about our Sunday one is they let everyone in at the same time, and they kind of try to manage it where the sellers can't buy before. Now, they used to be a lot better than I think they are now, but it's quite nice that if you haven't got a stall there, you all go at the same time. So you've kind of all got a fair shot of getting stuff.
oh
But
yeah,
we all know
yeah,
the
definitely,
first lap round that car boot sale, you fly around that first lap because you're
yeah,
kind of looking for the gems, are you? You're looking for the box
yeah, yeah.
N64, sealed kind of thing. But then the
Oh
second
yeah,
lap
you
round, you could
wish.
take your time a bit more. So, okay, let's just jump
Yeah,
in the chat quickly, and then we'll talk a
sure.
bit about scheduling. I want to get everyone's thoughts on scheduling because I've only started to schedule probably in the last 6 to 8 weeks properly, and I want to talk about that as well. So, I'll just jump into anyone else. So, hi Lee, thanks for coming in. Limelight Vinty, evening. Hope you're well. Um, and yeah, Damon's spot on. You can't call yourself a proper reseller unless you own at least one IKEA bag. Yeah, I've got loads here, but I use the
Oh yeah.
trolley. So yeah, it's funny because when I first started watching YouTube channels and I started seeing the trolley, I always said to myself, I'll never be one of them to get the trolley out and drag it around the car boot. But now if I forget the trolley, I'm fuming because most of the time I haven't got the IKEA bags in the car. And there's nothing worse going
Yeah.
around a car boot sale without a bag. You start picking up items, you're just walking around like this and trying to carry them all and stuff. So
Yeah, yeah. Mine
good
are always
stuff.
moving around. I use mine for packaging and everything. They're in the house sometimes, they're in a different room, or they're in a different
Yeah,
car. I'm always every night before the boot sale, I'm always prepping my gear. Got like
good
10
stuff.
IKEA bags.
Ian J's in. Hi, Ian. And Sophie's got a question. Did you actually quit your job, James? So you said you're having a bit of a nightmare day at the job, and you thought to yourself, "Oh, do you know what? I want to make money."
Yeah.
Did you leave that job, and did
So
it sort of what made you go? What made you
we,
go
that
into reselling, really?
so that was 4 years ago, a different carpentry job, and I did quit
Mhm.
that.
Yeah,
And I had about 3 months off. Um, it was before COVID. None of that was around.
sure.
And yeah, I started doing the research on reselling, and yeah, then had 3 months thinking that I could just do reselling. It's paying all right money, but really
Mhm.
it wasn't paying anything at all. Really, it's probably about maybe 500 quid a month
Yeah.
turnover if I was lucky. And so I was like, okay, I got to get another job. So yeah, I had that job. I got a new job.
Mhm.
Started that, and I've been there for about 3 years now, I think. And literally just before COVID hit, that's when I asked the boss, "Can I go part time and work
Yeah.
3 days a week?" And yeah, he didn't like it, but it's tough. It was either that, or I was going to leave and I don't know, go and work in Tesco or something, stacking shelves, and
Sure.
because I didn't need the money. eBay had taken off, and
Mhm.
I was ready to go part time. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you feel you're looking to move? I know we've had a few chats on Instagram, and I've
Mm,
seen some of your posts about, sometimes you feel like, oh, I wish I could just do eBay instead of going into the normal nine to
yeah.
five, as it were. Are you getting to the point of where you're saying to yourself, do you know what, at some point I do want to go full time?
Yeah, definitely. Especially
Yeah.
now at work where it's getting quite bad. All
Mhm.
jobs. I've had so many jobs. I've had like probably 10 to 15 different jobs since I was 16. And yeah, this one it's okay, but there are days where I'm just like, I've made like I've woken up and I've made 2 sales, made like 100 quid already, and I don't have to go to work today. Why
Yeah.
am I still doing this boring job? But it's just it's a risk thing, isn't it? It's paying the bills. It's a solid
Mhm.
income every month. I don't need to worry about it. And eBay, I've had the last two. Well, actually, no, yesterday was alright, but today I haven't sold anything on eBay. So
Mhm.
if I was full time, I'd
Yeah.
be panicking right now.
Yeah,
Um,
and I must admit, being full time on eBay, you do get that, and you quickly have to change from looking at the sort of day to day sales to a week on week.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
when I
you do.
first started with eBay, and I went straight full time, so I didn't do the part time to full time. I just went straight full time, but I had a bit of money behind me, a bit of a security blanket in case things didn't work out. I can go back to recruitment. But
Hmm.
it is that fear, especially when you first start, of having them days where you sell £20 worth or you have a 0 day, and you
Yeah,
start thinking, I
yeah.
can't have loads of these 0 days. And then you start thinking, what happens if I have 2 weeks of zeros?
Mm.
We've all got bills to pay, mortgages, rent, or whatever it may be. So yeah, you do have to quickly move away from that, the mindset of worrying about the day to day. But on the flip side of what you just said there, I'm so guilty of, if I wake up to £150 worth of sales, which does happen
Mm.
now and again, you then take the foot off the gas a bit that day, and you think, do you know what? I don't have to work as hard today because I've
Oh
already
yeah,
made my
yeah.
150. But then we know eBay punishes you as well. So
Oh,
that's
literally,
why
yeah,
we're going to get onto schedules, because it's been so important
yeah,
for me to have that consistency compared to sort of one day
yeah,
making loads of money on eBay, next day making zero, because that used to happen.
yeah.
Hi, Lisa. Thanks for coming in. Okay, so let's move on to the scheduling then. So I'm guessing when you are working this alongside another job, you have to be quite strict with your time, because am I right in thinking you've got a family now? You've had a little one, haven't you?
Yeah, literally, little. Yeah, she's 6 weeks tomorrow. Little Cecilia.
6 weeks. Well,
Yeah,
congratulations. So I guess the
thank you.
schedule's even more important now. So how do you look to schedule your eBay then? Because I can imagine sometimes you feel like, oh, I've had a tough day at work. I don't really
Hmm.
fancy packaging and posting these items tonight, or whatever it may be. So how do you like to schedule that to work
Um,
alongside family as well? Because that's obviously important.
yeah. I mean, it's getting stressful, obviously.
Yeah, I
But I
can imagine.
mean, with listing wise, I don't really list at all during the 3 days I'm working. So Tuesday
Hmm.
to Thursday, I hardly list at all. Maybe I'll do a few relisting and whatever. But
Yeah.
on Mondays, I list all the car boot stuff I got on the Sunday or over the weekend.
Hmm.
And then Friday, it's usually picking up the stuff that I didn't want to list on Monday, so all the boring bits,
Hmm.
and I'm listing them on Friday, and then just pretty much just repeating that. But yeah, I really want to try and push myself in the week a bit more, just to try and list a bit more, get the algorithm going. Keep the
Yeah.
store active, keep it
Hmm.
going, and because it does help. It does help because usually I don't really. I've only recently started scheduling listings and
Yeah.
kind of like schedule about 10 to 15 a week, and then I can just kind of list them anytime when I want.
Yeah.
If the store
Hmm.
dips below, like I'm on 300 now, so if it dips below 300, I kind of want to keep it above that.
Sure.
Um, you know, and then I'll probably try and list about 15 or so items on the Monday and 15 on
Hmm.
Friday. So, and roughly about £500 to £600 worth. If I can keep that going, it's usually a steady sort of income. It balances itself out, and then at the end of every month, I look at all the books and the numbers, and they're all relatively similar. It's
Yeah.
really weird, but usually they're about a couple of hundred quid out. I don't
Hmm.
know how, but it's just the way it
Yeah,
is.
no, it does do that. I mean, I've found for myself, by having a sort of schedule, I think it might be slightly different being full time, because as I said, you have to be consistent with it, and it's so easily done to be where I work at home. So if I
Yeah.
woke up this morning, I could think to myself, do you know what? You're your own boss. You don't have to do anything today. Don't worry about eBay. You get your packages done, and that's it. I mean, I woke up today to having to do 42 orders going out today, so I had to work.
I saw that.
But other days is a case of, if you've got no orders going out, you have to kind of force yourself at times to get in the habit of saying, right, let me get my 10 listings up at least. So I
Mm,
aim to do 10
definitely,
a
yeah.
day, but I realized quite quickly that I was being consistent with the 10 a day, but I hadn't accounted for days where you don't feel so well. So, like we spoke at the weekend, Saturday's boot sale was rained off. Sunday's boot sale was rained off. I mentioned to you I was going to go to that other one I found, which is undercover. But I woke up on Sunday, and with the cold, I'm feeling rough. So I've got no motivation to do it, kind of thing. So it made me realise that I need to get a draft bank prepared for when you don't feel great. Because you can force yourself to come in and share the list, but when you don't feel well, there's nothing worse, you know. So I'm trying to stay consistent doing 10 a day. But yeah, I was going to say to you, I mean, eBay have said at the eBay Open, I've seen a lot of things coming from the eBay Open about they like you to be consistently listing. They've actually kind of said it now. Now, what consistently listing means different things to different people. But I see that as eBay effectively want you working 24/7. We know that. But I think it means they want you to be active in your store, whether that be delisting, relisting, or whether that be putting new stuff up as well. So I'm definitely now going to be creating a draft bank and bring on nicely. Sophie's just mentioned here about scheduling listings. Now, I didn't realize if you have a store on eBay, scheduling listings is free. It's part of the package. It used to cost you, I think, 10p. And I never used to want to pay 10p. And I know it's only 10p, but if you do that over a course of a year, it quickly adds up. But now I've started doing the same. So on Wednesday and Thursday, I didn't post a draft. So I just scheduled them ready to go. Just so they're ready in the store. And I staggered them from midnight right the way through until 12, wherever it may be. Just so I know when I wake up, my listings are kind of done for that day and I can concentrate on the drafts.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side to that, you get complacent with regards to, I don't need to do any listings. So then you don't create any drafts and then you just get yourself into that thing. So I'm trying to be a lot more strict in my schedule. But do you feel you would do something like that? If you was to go full time, do you feel you would have a schedule more in place to be more consistent with it?
Definitely, yeah. I'll definitely schedule more listings and do just more listings all around. But it's more just trying to get hold of the stock for me. I can't get enough. I can't get enough really to list and schedule that many listings. And because I want to stick to the sort of £30 profit or 20 to £30 profit mark, it's quite hard to find that stock out there, especially with all the competition now. It's getting harder and harder. But really, I believe that even you don't have to be listing all the time. I think if you have the right item at the right price and there's someone out there, they're going to buy it. I let stuff sit for 18 months sometimes and one day it'll just sell, full price. And it's just the right person's found it at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I completely agree with that because I finally got round to listing up the PlayStation 4 I got from Borden with the Wii because I was waiting for a new charger to come because controllers weren't syncing with the console, but that's because I didn't have the right charging lead. Anyway, so that arrived today. And actually, I was speaking to a guy, and I want to shout him out, Oscar Kelly, who actually said to me, once you've got the PlayStation tested, let me know what you want for it, and I'm interested in buying it. And I looked at eBay prices, and I gave him a really good deal to say, look, if you want to do it off of eBay, let's do it today. And he did, and I've sent it out to him today. So what I will say is you're completely right there. If you list the correct items, they will sell quick. Because just before we agreed that deal, I put it on eBay, and I received like 4 offers for it.
Really?
And that was in the space of about 10 minutes. So again, that's the correct item at the right time kind of thing. But do you tend to look for gaming stuff at the car boot sales, or do you kind of?
Funnily enough, I've actually got up there. I've got a the old backwards compatible PS3, but I paid 20 quid for it, and it wasn't it wasn't working. Obviously, it was all full of dust, and it starts up for a second, then cuts out again. So if anyone knows what that is, if you can try and help, that'd be great. But I listed it yesterday after it was set on the floor for about 2 months because I just couldn't be bothered to deal with it and clean it all up. And overnight it's got about 8 watches already, and I put it on for 60 quid. So I'll be happy with 60 quid for it. I've sold them in the past for like 150 or something, but as long as if I can triple my money, then it's great. It's perfect.
Absolutely.
That's all part of it. Sorry.
So when you buy things, do you kind of have a sort of goal in place? I know you're saying about the sort of £30 upwards sale price. But do you kind of always say I want to double my money at least, or treble my money, or how do you kind of do it?
I mean, it's kind of that's a hard one. I mean, if I'm spending like a tenner on a pair of boots, I kind of want to be getting around, I'd say minimum 40 quid.
Okay. Yeah.
Minimum 40. And then, because otherwise you're parting with £10 at the boot sale, which you could be spending on 10 pairs of £1 shoes, and you could make loads more money there. But so I don't really see the point in kind of spending a tenner and then making 25, 30 quid. It's just
Sure.
a bit too much investment in it for me, with like fees and everything like that. And now the whole promoted listing's gone up. I don't know if you promote listings or not, but I do 2%, well 2.1% actually. Cause I don't know if it's going to make a difference. Probably not, but
Yeah.
I do. I think if I figured that extra 0.1% might bump me up a little bit further than everyone else. So
Yeah, there is that thing. I remember
I
when
don't
it was
know.
1%. I used to when I first started, it used to be the 1%, and it was always said do 1.1%
Yeah.
because it gets you
Oh
into
yeah.
the next sort of bracket kind of thing. I don't know how
Oh,
true
okay.
it is. It's kind of the eBay myths where the other thing as well, if you
Yeah.
accept an offer early in the morning, you're going to have a really good day on eBay. And it always feels that
Yeah.
way, but it might be because you've just accepted an early offer. But yeah,
Maybe.
I go quite aggressive with my promotions. I actually do 7% across the whole store.
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
I promote them from the start, from day one, which is probably why maybe one of my issues with my average sale price isn't as high as it should be,
Mm.
because I'm more of a case of get things in, get things out as quick as possible now.
Yeah.
At one point, my store was up to nearly 1,000 items, and I think I'm now on about 630 maybe. So my issue
Crazy.
now is I need to start
Yeah.
getting more stock, but I've done it at the
Yeah.
worst time in the year because now the boot sales are coming to an end. So that moves me on nicely to the next thing I want to talk to you about. With
Yeah.
regards to getting stock, how do you source? Because you mentioned obviously you do the boot sales. You do a Saturday and Sunday boot
Yeah.
sale, am I right thinking?
I do a Saturday one. It's only small. There's hardly anyone there ever, but you know, it's quite good for the sort of vintage gear and like just the random sort of old 1960s, 70s, like furniture, like the old folding tables and things like that.
Sure.
Yeah, it's just like so. I go there for them for that, and just for the old bits. You know, I have had some good finds there too. And then Sunday's usually the main. That's bread and butter, sort of just getting the quantity up. And you know, if I'm lucky enough to get a good find, then so be it. It's good. So
And you
I'm
only do
for
the
this
one
year.
boot
I've
sale
been
on
hitting.
Sunday.
Sorry, what was that?
You only do the one boot sale on Sunday.
Yeah, just the one. Yeah, I'm there. I know. I think Ricky goes to a few others. I don't know if you do or not. But I just I stick to the one and then come straight home, and then I'm happy. If I've had a good day, if I filled like 3 or 4 bags to load, then that'll do me for the week, and then hopefully it doesn't rain the next week, and then just do it again, keep going.
Yeah, and that's the issue
Yeah,
we're going to get. I think in the next couple of weeks is, I mean, next
yeah,
weekend looks okay, but then I think it's going to start getting colder. The rain's going to come. I mean, even my Saturday one has said now they're not opening until 7:30, where normally they're open about 5:30, 6, just because of the
okay,
weather's changing. So I think it's
yeah.
going to
So
be thinking outside the box, really. So what's your plans for when the boot sales close down? I know the one we go to, I think I was speaking to you actually. You said to me they kind of say they're open up until Christmas, depending on weather, which is great.
yeah, it's like early December, I think. But
But what's your
they,
plans if it does close down early?
I mean, I've got a little bit of a backlog in the loft, and I kind of throughout the year, anything high value, if it's kind of between 60 and up £60 upwards, and it's just the odd item, quite small to store, I'll happily just put it in the loft. It's quite hard to do
Yeah,
because I want to get it listed and make the money, but I'll just put it in the loft, and then when it comes to like January, February time, when it's frozen out, really cold outside, you know, no boot sales at all. Charity shops are rubbish. I can then dive into that pile of stuff and get some really good quality gear onto my shop.
yeah,
You know,
no, absolutely.
But now I've tried to as well as that having like the high end sort of game because most of it's game consoles and things like that I found throughout the year. So as well as those sort of high end things, I'm trying to just get shoes now as well. So just kind of box up a load of shoes. I think I've got about 30 odd pairs of shoes in the loft right now, and they're just
Yeah,
kind of bread and butter. 20 to 30 pound pairs of shoes, but they'll keep the shop going, keep the money coming in,
keep it
and
active.
they're nice and small and easy to store. So, but once I run out of that, then it's kind of like, oh dear, I don't know what to do. Maybe I'll, try and hit the charity shops or just let the shop drop down to, whatever it drops down to, and then just carry it back in March time. And once the
Yeah,
boot sales are back up.
and that is the benefit as well with doing it part time. There's lots of benefits
Yeah.
to doing this part time because you haven't then got to rely 100% on eBay. Where for myself, I need to probably get better next year to do what you just said there. When I go to the car boot sales, maybe put 20% or 10% aside and put it in the loft. And
Yeah.
actually, over the course of 3, 4, 5 months at the car boot sales, you can get a lot of stock unlisted in the loft, which at the time is going to be hard to do. But
Oh yeah.
that when it comes to the winter months, you can kind of go up there. I mean, Nick Hill showed it in his loft, I think, in one of his videos.
Yeah.
It was
I've seen
like
it. Yeah.
he had stuff in there he forgot about. which is always great when you go up to the loft and kind of say, oh, this is up there. Like, let's get this listed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let me just
definitely
jump in the chat. Hi, Neil. Hope you're well. Hope you're still using Packlink and enjoying it. Neil says it's cold in his garage already. Yeah, absolutely. It's freezing in this shed here. I've got the heater next to me, but I dare not put it on yet. If I'm not allowed the heating on in the house until November, is what I've said to the wife. There's no way I'm having the heating on in the garage. So there we are. Tamabel, part of the 2.1% club as well. And Lisa's asked, would you ever consider niching, James? Now, I'm guessing that's to you, but yeah, go
on. I mean, could I say I'm a niche? I've got a niche in the shoes right now because I one of my first job actually when I was 16 was working in a shoe shop, and the amount of times I found these really random brands at the car boot sale, and I'm like, oh, I know that brand. I sold them. Actually, it was the boots I sold the other week. That was a pair of shoes.
You had 3 really good sales, didn't you?
Yeah, all in the space of like 2 days. But those boots went for 150 quid because I remember selling them in the shoe shop for 350. So and I only paid like 20 quid for them, so that's quite nice. But no, I wouldn't really niche down on a single item because I haven't really got the contacts for it, and also I kind of it's what I love doing. I enjoy going and hunting for random bits and bobs, and the surprise on people's faces when you're like, oh, I paid £1 for this and sold it for £200. It's like they're just they're amazed. They don't think it's possible. So I'll never stop doing that.
Sure, I completely agree. I mean, there's loads of times I think about niching down. I can see the benefits of doing so. But I also like the treasure hunt, like you're saying there. I love going to the car boot sale and being able to come up to you or Jay Flipping Sloth or anyone else to see at the boot sale and then say, what have you got today then? And you say, well, I bought this for £3 and it could be worth £150.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think if you niche down, you do get them, but I don't think you get them as much. And I think I would miss that. So, I'm kind of thinking I want to niche down, but I kind of don't. So I'm in 2 minds at the moment. Neil saying that he's sold some shoes this week. He was way out of his comfort zone. I know Neil does a lot of cameras. So I picked up a lot more shoes recently. I've kind of just gravitated towards them a bit more. And I don't know whether that's because they're easier to store compared to some of the other things I pick up. But I don't mind picking them up, but I don't know enough about them. So I make a lot of mistakes on shoes where I see you looking at shoes and I've got you on my footage the other day. I don't know if you saw where you were trying to negotiate a price, and I thought if you've left them behind, I'm not going to go and try and buy them. If you've left them behind for a reason. So
I remember.
I think it's one of the things you can kind of do a bit of more research into different niches and stuff. So you obviously mentioned you learned a lot about your shoes from your job. But how else do you do your research then of what to pick up? Is it purely YouTube? Because that's how I started. And that's how I continue, really.
Yeah, it's continuously learning really on YouTube. I started watching obviously Nick and Andrew and Sahir. Do you remember the old Tat Chats?
I do,
every Tuesday night the Tat Chat. I remember that.
Yeah.
And just learning from them. And then there was also Ben Fitzpatrick, if you know him. He doesn't do YouTube anymore, but he's still reselling. And I learned tons of him because he more like the hi-fi sort of things. I think he specializes in that now.
Yeah.
And I just learned tons just from kind of, I know it's kind of cheeky, but I just, you learn any way you can. So I save the seller on my eBay, and I'm always checking people's solds, not every day, but just seeing what they're up to and seeing what sells. And then somewhere in my head, it will kind of lock into there. And then when I'm at the boot sale, I'll be like, oh, that guy sold that for 30 quid. I'll pick that up. And even if, if I don't know much about it, it's just continuously learning really. But mostly YouTube is how I've learned it.
Yeah.
And also just like I said, the shoe shop job, I've had about 10 other retail jobs in my life, just like working retail. And I worked in a bike shop, in a jeweler's, in a carpet shop, just random things like that. And I learned bits about different bike brands, all different shoes, random bits and bobs and watches. Yeah. So
it's just built up over the years, and then it makes it easier when you go out. See, I was speaking to someone about this today, interestingly enough, and the way my brain works is I've kind of had to. I've either seen it on YouTube because I watch so much YouTube of other resellers, and this is well before I first of all started reselling. So I used to like the treasure hunt, but secondly, when I started my YouTube channel, I wanted obviously to watch a bit more in depth about what people was doing well and what parts I maybe didn't like and such. So I've done a lot of research in that sense. But for me, I learn the most when I pick something up myself, and if I've sold it recently or in the last couple of years, I would always kind of take myself straight to it. It's like with the ink cartridges the other day I picked up. I mean, I've sold many of them over time, but the ones I picked up, I didn't realize how much they were worth. But I knew at £1 or whatever each, there's profit to be made, even though they sell for a tenner each, you know.
Yeah, if they're
But
brand
I
new
mean,
and
I sold,
sealed, you know.
yeah, and I sold one yesterday or the day before. I think that one went for about 65 quid just for one of them. And someone
Wow.
made me an offer for two of the others for 50 quid, which I had up for like £70. And I took it straight away, of course.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know, at the time, you don't realize how much money is sitting there. And I think
Oh,
that's
yeah,
the joy
definitely.
of a car boot sale, because there is a lot of resellers at our car boot sale. We know that. And actually, a lot of them are YouTubers as well, which is great.
Yeah,
But there's never any of that negativity towards each other. We all actually stop and speak to each other. There's no like jumping in front of each other and stuff like that, because there's plenty of stuff to go around. And I think that's
yeah,
the joy
exactly.
of going to car boot sales. You haven't got to kind of think, I've got to be there before so and so, because if you miss out on something at one stall, they're going to pick something up on the other stall. So, you know, there is plenty to go.
You can be the best reseller in the game and walk in and walk the wrong direction, and someone else goes this way and they find, I don't know, a brand new still Nintendo 64 or something. Like
I know. No, exactly. So the secret carper said, niche and down would be so hard walking past items at a boot sale, you know you can make profit. Yeah, and I think that's what I was saying at the start with regards to the £1 into £10 or £15 items. Because I know I can sell them for profit, I keep picking them up. But then what is causing me is a headache when it comes to storage and a lower sort of average sale price. So I need to get into the mindset. And I think that's my sort of goal next year, to actually say, when I go out to the car boots, to, if I am going to pick up them items, be wary of not just picking up them items, because there's been times I've come home from the car boot, I might have spent about £40, and I look at the items I've got and think, well, each one of these is about £8 to £10 profit each, which is still great. But it's not that one or two items that is going to be £200 or £150. And we know you can't always find it, but it's about being more consistent with, like you say, the sort of £30 to £60 bracket is a nice place to be. And I would rather do that. I'd rather pay £10 for a £60 sale than £1 for a £10 sale. You know, so it's more about thinking outside the box a bit. My cousin said,
you can't be afraid to pay up on the item, really. If, you know, if you make the mistake, I bought this. There's a not a hi-fi, docking speaker over there. I paid like 15 quid for that the other day, and I think someone else has one listed for 15 quid on eBay. So, and that's the only one listed. So, you know, I've pretty much wasted 15. But then, you know, I probably picked up some more items which will make my money back on that. But I've learned, you know, that's not worth any money. So and I've lost some money. But you gotta spend the money to learn. It's the only way, really. Everyone makes mistakes.
And I talk to people a lot about that, and especially new resellers who say, "What's the advice you would give me?" And it's more of a case of make mistakes, especially when you go to your first car boot sale. Maybe take £20 or £30 with you, and you know what? Don't necessarily have to look everything up. Look a few things up, but just take risks, because you know what it's like when you're at a stall. You have to make that decision so quickly, because unless you're holding the item the whole time, you know, someone else will come along, and I've done it many a time. I've stepped away to look something up and think, oh, that's a good one. And then turn my head and someone's brought it, you know, right under your nose. You're thinking, if only I just took the risk. So I always say to people, just take the risk, because it's worth it.
It's literally the same. Like I said, when I saw you on Sunday, a few weeks back, with the VHS player that you picked up for £6,
which I still haven't listed. I was meaning to that today, still sitting next to me here.
But I saw that. It's in pretty much like 5 minutes when I was into the field, and I decided to walk straight past it because I thought it was just an empty box. Then you found it, got it for £6, and it's a brand new VHS combi, which, what's that, 250 quid probably?
Yeah, I think it's nearer 200 mark, but I thought the same, because I brought something else off his stall. I bought some house phones actually, and I remember thinking, I'm just going to ask, and I said, oh, is it in there? And he was like, yeah, and I was shocked, because the way it was standing up, I thought it was just an empty box. But it's one of the things, isn't it? Like, you know, you missed out on that one, but then I've missed out on something else you picked up. So that's what I'm saying about the car boots. You can't get everything, and that's the joy of going, because sometimes I will go to a second one on Sunday, and the mentality sometimes is feeling like I'm late to the game. All the good stuff's going to be gone. But actually, you'll be surprised how much stuff is actually left. And by that point, people are thinking, I need to lower the price because I don't want to take it home with me. So you can go later to a second car boot sale and still pick up loads of good stuff.
Always. And people hold stuff in the car sometimes. I think they hold it behind. They don't want the resellers getting it, because they know we all get into the field at 6:30, 7 o'clock. So they hold it back because they want it to go to a good family, or and not to be made, you know, not to be sold on eBay.
Yeah. So you're going to train your little one up to come to the car boots with you, because
Oh yeah,
I found
yeah.
even when I had my little I say my little niece, my niece with me, I found that having her with me, people were more generous with prices.
Oh,
Funnily
definitely,
enough,
yeah,
it felt.
yeah, they are.
So yeah, get them
Yeah.
trained up early.
I'll put her on
So
the
Neil,
little chest strap thing, and she can walk
that's
around with
it.
me.
Yeah, I pick up plenty of them.
Yeah.
So Neil says he does both. So the main account is niche, strictly photography equipment, and he also runs a general account where any other awesome stuff gets listed. Yeah, I think if I was going to niche down, it would be that. It would be a new eBay store to run alongside my current store. So I would have like an everything store and then a niche store.
Yeah.
Just you can still pick up that everything kind of item, and I'd probably do sort of 20% everything and 80% the niche if I was going to do it, because I like someone was saying earlier, walking past that item at the car boot sale, you know you're going to make maybe £100 profit. How can you not pick that up?
Yeah,
And I know
exactly,
people are
exactly.
down
Yeah.
who say to me they don't anymore. They don't want to hassle with it, and I think that's £100 sitting there, you
Mm,
know. But everyone runs their business differently, which is great.
yeah.
Hi Pete, hope you're well. Let me see if anyone else jumped in. Um, oh yeah, so my cousin John, who comes to the Saturday one, is saying leave those items to him. He doesn't like it when he comes to me, because sometimes I pick up items and he'll be like, "How much is that worth?" And I'll tell him. But then on the flip
Yeah,
side, he
yeah.
gets stuff as
It's
well, and he gets ahead of me. So it is one of them
another thing I
where,
realised was when I started out, I would only pick up items that would send small parcel, and obviously
oh
most
right,
of the
okay,
time they're only going to be worth 10 to 15 quid. You know, it
yeah,
depends what you find, but just kind of like, because I didn't want to use Hermes or anything like that, or couriers. I just wanted to use Royal Mail second class, get it out. And
yeah.
so
So
for
I
like the
started.
first year, I was only picking up items that big, which obviously limits your, what you can buy at the car boot. Whereas now
Mm,
I use Hermes or Every, whatever they're called.
yeah,
I use them, and I ship anything, just massive things. If I see it and it's worth lots of money, I'm going to buy it. And
yeah,
even if I have to do collection only, I'll still buy it and make profit. If there's money to be made, I'll get it.
yeah.
But
And
yeah,
what's your
don't be
experience with?
afraid to pack it up and send it. Sorry, what's that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's right. What's your experience with Every and Hermes? Because I use them. They've got a bad reputation, but I think for me, I've had more problems with Royal Mail, for instance, than Every. But what's
Mm.
your experience? Have you had many things go wrong? I mean, none of them are
I
perfect. I'm going to get it right all the time, but
Yeah, I reckon they're this. Well, obviously they chuck stuff around, but as long as you
oh
package
yeah,
it properly and lots of bubble wrap and card or whatever, then it's kind of your fault if it breaks. But
yeah,
they have lost quite a few of my items. But now I kind of, if I keep track of the tracking, I can see when it's not being moved and like it hasn't moved in like 2 or 3 days. And I usually contact them. I use Parcel to Go. I don't know if you use that at all, but
I use
contact
Packlink,
Parcel to
but
Go.
yeah, I
Oh
should
yeah.
use Parcel Go.
I use that, and they usually get someone on it. They open up a whole case, and then a day later, I get an email saying your parcel's been found, and then they usually
Mm.
get it to the customer maybe a few days late. But they have lost maybe, I don't know, I'd say 5 items in what, 4 years.
Yeah,
But
which
it's
is nothing
it's
really.
the amount of stuff I sell all the time. It's nothing really, is it?
No, absolutely. So yeah, Neil saying I don't want non-photography tag listed alongside my quality photo gear. Yeah, I completely agree. I think it can mess up the algorithm a bit as well. You've obviously got a market there, Neil, where you'll get lots of repeat
Mm.
customers coming back for your photography stuff. They don't want to look through a vintage, Guns N' Roses t-shirt, etc., to find the photography stuff. So it makes
Yeah,
perfect sense. Um, just pick up the £30 plus. I wish that was my niche. Yeah, we were just
it's
speaking about
hard.
that.
It's hard.
I'm trying to up my average sale price to that, but it is hard just to walk past there. Let's have a look here. I don't know why I keep picking up Tommy Hilfiger, as it never sells for me, but for some reason I keep picking it up. Yeah, do you know what? When I done a
Yeah.
bit of clothing, I used to pick up a lot of Tommy Hilfiger, thinking it would fly out, and I used to pick up Tommy Hilfiger polo shirts from the charity shop for £8, and in the end, I was selling them for about £4 just to get rid of them.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, it's funny how
I think
brands maybe what
there are
you've
certain
specific to.
things where certain things you just have to pick them up if you see them, and it's like Pokemon for me. Like I picked up Pokemon cards the other day, and I paid 45 quid for like 7 or 8 hollows from base set, which they are. It's a lot of money, but I got home and they're not actually worth that much anymore because the whole Pokemon's dipped down again, and the cards weren't in great condition. But that's 45 quid. But it's because I'd never seen them at the car boot before, so I just thought, oh, I'll get these, even if I had them to my collection. Yeah, I just had to buy them.
Yeah,
This
I
is
do you know
what happens.
I talking of sort of things that aren't worth money anymore. I had someone come up to me on a Saturday car boot sale, my second one, and I wasn't filming this car boot sale, but she come up to me and she straight away went, "Oh, there's loads of shoes over there," and I went, "Are you talking to me?" She was like, "Yeah, I've been watching your YouTube videos and see you pick up loads of shoes recently." And I was saying I just gravitate towards them, and she went,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, from watching your YouTube, I picked up a Wii bundle the other day." And I was like, "Oh yeah." She's like, "Yeah, I paid £60 for a Wii and with Mario Kart." And I went, "You do know we were talking about the fact that Wii's aren't worth the money anymore?" And she was
Yeah,
like, "Oh,
yeah.
I thought it was still worth a couple of £100 or something." I was like, "No, that's during lockdown." So yeah, I think it's always important to look at solds and look at trends as well. Like Sophie said, there with the Tommy Hilfiger stuff, it used to be a very reputable, wanted brand, and now it's probably not as popular as it once was. Which is why I think I made a loss on mine, just because people don't want it anymore. So Pete said just got £110 for a Rock Band guitar. Is that the Wii stuff, Pete? Because I've sold a few of the Rock Band sets before, and they go for really good money. And some people will sell them for £5 or £10 at the car boot. So if you see a Rock Band set in the box and stuff, it's always worth.
I saw this on Instagram. This Pete guy. I'm not sure. I might have been Instagram or somewhere. The £110 guitar. But was it a brand new sealed one? I think if it's brand new and sealed, someone's going to want it and pay up for it.
Well, a collectible one now. I'm just going to have a look on Pete's Instagram now to see if I can find. I'll do it afterwards. Yeah, Pete, let us know if it was the new and sealed one, because collector will always buy the new and sealed stuff. So even if you buy
definitely
new and sealed games, and you might not think they're worth much money, they're worth getting at a good price, because collectors will always buy them. We got Shabba in. Hi, Shabba. Hope you're well. PS4. It's a PS4 one.
Oh, okay. So it must have been someone else then.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anything new and sealed, really. Retro games, new and sealed. If you're lucky enough to find it, don't worry about paying up, because you can usually get a lot more for it. Especially if it's like GameCube or any old Nintendo.
Well, that's even better, Pete. For a pre-owned one for £110 is amazing. So new and sealed, you say, would be £200 plus. So so that's something for people to look out. As long as you're not at Pete's car boot sale, and you get ahead of him, look out for the Rock Band guitars, because they obviously sell for good money. But again, it's something else I would walk past and I would maybe pick it up for a £5 or a £10, but I wouldn't think of spending £15-20 on it, because I would never have known it would sell for that. So this is why, again, looking on Instagram, looking on YouTube is really important, to build that Rolodex in your own head, to say, now for instance, I'll go out on the weekend and I'll think, well, I remember Pete said he sold that guitar for £110. So if I see one, I know it's worth grabbing. So it's always important to see what else is out there. So let's talk a little bit then about yourself then, because you're quite active on Instagram. You post all your sales on Instagram, and I always like looking to see what you pick up, because it's more of a kick in the stomach for me to think to myself, oh, how have I missed that? Because you probably got on the boot sale I was at. But what about YouTube side? Because you don't have a YouTube channel. Are you like how I was a few months ago, saying I haven't got time for YouTube, I'll never do YouTube?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
probably that. And so many people do it now. I just feel like I can't offer much to the table, because so many other resellers do it. And also, I'm not the best on camera, so there's that as well.
Well, you've done well tonight.
Thank you. But there's many reasons, time and all sorts of things. But maybe one day. We'll see.
But you enjoy the Instagram side as well, because it's nice to share what you find, and also look to see what other people find as well.
Yeah,
good stuff.
I'll stick to Instagram for now, I think. So if you can all follow me on Instagram, that'd be great.
I'm about to do the shout out. So I was about to say, where can people find you? I know we've got it scrolling across the bottom, but where's the best place for people?
I think I'm eBazaar _ reselling on Instagram, and then that's so Jams eBazaar on eBay if you want to see my shop. But that's where I am mostly. But I try and keep up Instagram, but even that's quite a lot of hassle, just trying to get everything laid out. Like if you get a load of whole picture, you get it all on Instagram. You got to get it all on display and get it all nice. Not as much work as YouTube, but it's still something.
No, but I completely agree. Even like staging things, because I've sometimes done all my photos, put the item away, and thought, I need to share that somewhere, whether it be YouTube, whether it be Instagram, and get it all back out, restage it as well. So no, it does take time. So Pete's saying he paid £5 for that guitar. So really nice pickup.
That's nice. Yeah.
We've got another question. What are your favourite items you love picking up, listing, and enjoy selling? So, James, you can answer it first, and I'll go after you.
Yeah. I'm getting all the follows now.
Yeah, I can hear it coming through.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be shoes. It's got to be shoes. So basically, I'll sometimes I pick up like 15 pairs of shoes at a car boot sale, and usually they're all covered in mud and horrible and disgusting and smelly, whatever. But once you see past that, and back in the summer when it was nice and hot outside, I would go outside, do all the shoes in bulk, put them in the sun, and then give them a few hours. They'll be like nice and dry, smelling fresh, and ready to list on eBay. And they're just so quick and easy. And the money, because at the boot sale they're usually covered in mud, and people just think it's another pair of shoes. They just get rid of them for a £5 or something, and then as long as you take good clear photos and show all the angles, whatever, then you can get good money. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I need some advice then, because I've got a stinky pair of football boots that I picked up, and it's like at the car boot sale. I know some people do the sniff test. I'm not brave enough to do the sniff test. But when you bring it home in the bag and you can smell something in there that smells of used football boots, how do you clean? I know how to clean the outside. What do you use? Anything special to get them smelling fresh again? Do you buy stuff online, or what do you recommend?
I'll show you quickly because I've got the thing.
Because I need to clean them, but I've been putting it off because I don't want to go near them at the moment. I want to get the right stuff.
Little shout out to Odor Eaters.
There you go. The video is not sponsored by Odor Eaters, but if Odor Eaters do want to sponsor me, I will take it. So
I use that for my shoes, and then usually stick them in the sun, kills all the bacteria and the smell. And to be fair, usually at the car boot, most of the shoes I pick up are actually quite fresh and not stinky. I have had some have the smoke smell to them, which is a lot harder to get out. And I usually, if it's really bad, I just chuck them out because I don't want. There's no point in risking selling that one item, getting 30 quid for it, and then you get a negative feedback in your shop. I don't know. Again, it's the algorithm. I don't know if you get a negative, does your shop dip down in the, do your items get hidden more?
eBay won't admit it, but it's like when you get a return opened against you, regardless whether you accept the return straight away or whether it's your fault. I do feel eBay. They say they don't, but I feel they punish you.
Yeah,
so I completely agree. So
Odor Eaters. Yeah, Odor Eaters. I've had returns open, then a load of sales straight after the return. So you never know. You can never know with eBay. As long as you just keep on listing and stay consistent and make sure everything's in order, like your dispatch times. And because sometimes I've had it where I've gone on holiday and had 5-day dispatch. I've come home and I've not realised I haven't changed it back. And I'm like, where are my sales? But it's because I've got 5-day dispatch on. And competing with like Amazon Prime and all the others nowadays, it's quite hard to, do that as a one-man band and have fast dispatch. Yeah,
well, people want items the next day, or people want items the same day now. And with Amazon, you do have to kind of compete. I mean, I normally do 1-day dispatch or 2-day. But since I put it on 2-day, I've left it on 2-day because that's actually quite nice to have that extra day, to not have to stress about doing it all the time. So I think 1 or 2 days is good when you're full time. But when you're part time, you need to kind of work it around what else you've got going on. You don't want to, as I say, have to come home at 5 or 6 o'clock from your job and have to come out and pack 5 orders that need to go out that evening. That's not a fun place. But sometimes you've got to do it.
It's hard. Yeah, especially like you say, after a hard day's work, and then you've got to come home and pack all these big. And they're usually, if I get one big and bulky sale, I usually get a load more big bulky ones. It's never like lots of small ones. It's always lots of big, massive things. Like I thought I was being organised because yesterday I packed up like 5 orders to send out in the morning, but then overnight I sold the Nerf Havoc big machine gun.
Big ones.
I sold that. I thought, for God's sake, I haven't got a box for that, so I had to kind of like Frankenstein a box together, make this box for it, and get it sent out with all the others. I was half this morning.
I do pick up a lot of Nerfs. I don't know if you've seen that store at Borden with all them Nerf guns.
Yeah,
I've made 2 buys off them before. I spent a few £100, and when they saw me at the weekend, they were like, "Do you want to buy any more?" And I was like, "No, not today." But I think in a couple of weeks' time, that might be the way for me to go, to try and get a bulk buy with them again, to get some stock in for some of the winter as well. But with regards to Shabba's question for myself, obviously video games are the best thing I enjoy picking up, but you hardly find them anymore. But you'll probably see in my YouTube videos, I pick up a lot of house phones. So BT house phones, Panasonic house phones, because what I do is I break them apart. So I will sell the handsets individually, the bases individually. And normally the handsets will go anywhere between £8 to £15 each, and the base is about the same. So where you can pick them up for £2 or £3 for a whole set, you can sell the whole set for probably £15 or £20. But I like to break it all down. And that's where I think my average sale price is a bit lower, because all of them are chucked in there as well. So Sophie has said, first of all, she put herself off starting a YouTube channel and then done it. Yeah, I remember when I had Sophie on the coffee pod, she was thinking about it, and then she finally done it. Her videos are really good. So first of all, if you're not following Sophie on YouTube, everyone, please give her a follow. And she's followed you on Insta. Pete's followed you on Insta as well. So we've got you a few subs. So
Thanks,
that's worth coming on, for sure. Also, doing a channel allows you to rabbit about reselling to people who care. So Damien, that's part of the reason why I started mine, because the wife probably gets bored of me saying, "Look what I brought from the car boot itself, and this much going to make this." But she's like, "I hear it every weekend." So now I can just talk to loads of other people who might actually care. That's a good point. So I'm a bit conscious of time, and the only reason I say that is because promoting another channel, Cooking Hayden are doing their final live. I believe this year. I think they stopped doing lives up until the new year, top of my head, and that's coming up. So I want to make sure that, I'm not clashing with them. So I just want to say, James, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it, because we're both full of cold.
That's fine.
Or I messaged you last night or this morning. I forget which one it was now. Just saying, I know it's last night. I really appreciate you coming on, mate. And I will put all of your Instagram details in the section below, so people can give you a follow as well. So anyone who watches it on the replay can give you a follow on Instagram, and hopefully give you some more followers on there. Let me just go through the comments in case. I've fast run out of packaging. I think I'm going to actually have to buy some boxes. Yeah, I made some boxes orders today, because I think over the next 2 or 3 months, everyone's going to be ordering boxes. So I wouldn't be surprised if prices are going up. And talk of the devil, he's just arrived. Ricky's in. Hi, Ricky, mate. We're about to finish because Cooking Hayden's coming on. But you have to catch the replay or catch us at Borden at some point.
I haven't seen you at Borden for a while.
No, I was going to say I haven't seen you at Borden, Ricky, for a while. And I think last time I saw Ricky was before I was doing my YouTube videos. So he probably has seen me running around with the trolley, not knowing who I am, but hopefully he does know. So next time I see you, Ricky, I'll say hello. F2A bargains are here. Just at the end, everyone's joined at the end. But James, I just want to say again a massive thank you. And
thanks for having me on. It's been lovely chatting to you.
Yeah, it's cool. It's always good to get someone on who, hasn't necessarily got a YouTube channel and isn't kind of out there facing everyone all the time kind of thing. So to find out about your journey. So, if I don't speak to you before, which I'm sure I will this week, I will see you at Borden on Sunday. Yeah,
probably. Yeah.
Everyone's coming in now. Luxury pickers. Welcome and goodbye, I guess, because we're going to get off Cooking Hayden. So, thank you all for joining, and I'll see you on the next one.
Nice one. Thank you. Bye.